Hi friends, today's pick a card reading is all about what they really think of you and the truth you don't know. Remember friends that how you see yourself matters way more than what others think of you. This is all just for fun and insights. Now, if you are new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do here is you are going to pick the pile or the crystal that you are the most intuitively drawn to. We have pile 1 with Malachite, pile 2 with Aragonite, and pile 3 with Sodalite. You can choose one pile, you can choose more than one pile if you have more than one person in mind, or you can choose all of them if you have 3 people that you want to get more insights into. But when you're ready, go to the description of this video, find the timestamp that's linked to your pile, and then you can skip ahead to your reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, friends, and I will see you on the inside. Hi, pile 1. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. So let's first talk about their immediate, unfiltered thoughts of you. Let's get their first impressions that they can't shake, what they think of when your name comes up, and the energy that you imprint on them. We have the 3 of Spears here, and this is the 3 of Swords. So pile 1, when your person in mind thinks of you, there's this immediate emotional reaction. This isn't a casual reaction, it's not neutral. I feel like you represent this truth that cut through some sort of illusion that this person was living in. I feel like this person is feeling a bit tender, and I feel like you awakened something that they couldn't ignore. So to them, I feel like you're connected to this moment of emotional clarity for them, like maybe a realization or a truth that landed very deeply. Maybe you stirred up feelings that were already there, but they were unspoken. And so I feel like if your name comes up, their body remembers before their mind even explains. So maybe they immediately think of a conversation with you that changed how they saw something. Or maybe your name brings up a feeling of vulnerability that they don't usually let themselves sit with. Because I feel like even if time has passed, the emotional charge still hasn't disappeared. We also have Refinement, Dahlia, and this is Scorpio energy here. So this card tells me something important about you. I feel like you are naturally someone who refines people simply by just being yourself. You don't skim the surface. I feel like you move straight toward that emotional truth. And I feel like with Scorpio energy here, this represents you being able to see beneath the mask, even when you're not trying to. And so I feel like the person in mind experiences you as someone who transforms others through presence and not force. Maybe you notice that people tell you things that they didn't plan to say, or maybe others feel exposed around you even if it's quiet, or maybe connections with you tend to be intense even if they feel brief. I just think that together these cards are saying that you are remembered as someone who brings truth, and truth changes people. Next, let's talk about what they admire or are drawn to. Let's talk about the traits that they respect, desire, envy, and why you affect them emotionally or psychologically, and where this energy comes from. So we have the Knight of Spears in reverse. This is the Knight of Swords in reverse. So pile 1, I feel like what they admire most about you is your restraint. You're mentally sharp, you know how to see what's coming, and you don't need to announce it. I feel like you're the kind of person who doesn't need to chase conversations or force clarity. You know when to step back and let silence speak. And this is extremely intriguing to them. I feel like they notice that you don't over-explain yourself, or you disengage instead of arguing, and that you move with intention, not impulse. And there's this quiet authority in that, and they feel that. Pile 1. We also have Perfect Storm, the courage to step into life. I feel like this card speaks to your bravery. Pile 1. Like even when things are emotionally charged, you don't freeze. You stay present, and I feel like you step into life rather than waiting for everything to feel safe or certain. So I feel like they admire this because on some level, they wish they could do the same. Maybe in real life this shows up as respect for how you handle emotional intensity. Or maybe this is an attraction to your ability to move forward despite uncertainty. I feel like this person feels inspired and then slightly challenged by your courage. And I feel like as a person, you embody this emotional bravery, and that's extremely magnetic. Pile 1. Next, I want to talk about their hidden fears, judgments, or insecurities. Let's talk about what intimidates them about you, why they hold back, and where their projections come from. We have the 2 of Flowers here, and this is the 2 of Wands. So I feel like you represent a turning point for them, and being close to you would require a choice, whether this is growth or movement or a change, and maybe that feels intimidating. So I feel like it's not that they don't care, it's that you stand at the edge of their comfort zone. So maybe you're noticing that they linger instead of stepping forward, or that they're overthinking instead of acting. Maybe you're feeling like they feel torn between safety and expansion. We also have the moon's moment, synchronicity. So pile one, on a deeper level, I feel like they sense that this connection isn't random. Like there's this intuitive pull here, maybe this feeling of timing or fate or meaning, and maybe that's unsettling if someone prefers logic over intuition. So maybe this looks like them continuing to think about you unexpectedly, or maybe they notice signs or reminders or coincidences that are tied to you. Maybe they feel drawn back even after trying to move on. Or maybe there's this fear that comes from trusting something that they can't fully explain. Next, I want to talk about how this affects you and what to do next. Let's talk about how their thoughts influence this dynamic and whether to lean in, detach, clarify, maybe hold boundaries, and let's also talk about your power in this situation. We have the star in reverse here, and so this is your gentle reminder, my friends. If you wait too long in uncertainty, you might find that you start to dim your own light, and then you start to wonder if you were too much or too intense or too honest. And the real answer here is that you weren't. Because the star in reverse asks you to bring hope back home to yourself rather than seeking it through this person's response. Like if something feels draining or unclear, then it's not meant to be carried alone. So don't be afraid to reach out for help, support. I definitely feel like speaking to like a counselor or a trusted guide or a mentor or a friend or a family member, a loved one, somebody who can support you. I feel like that could be very significant here. We also have Gemini, cross-pollinate. So I feel like this card reminds you that your energy is meant to flow. Pile one, you naturally thrive in spaces where communication and curiosity and feelings of reciprocity exist. You are not here to wait in this emotional limbo. And so I feel like what this means for you is that you are going to share your insights where it's welcomed. You're going to engage with people who meet you halfway. And you're going to let connection feel light as well as deep. You know, pile one, you are allowed to move forward without waiting for anyone to catch up. Pile one, you are remembered, you are respected, and you are not invisible. Whether this person in mind rises to meet you is their journey, and so your work is honoring where your light is received. You are safe here, pile one. Let's get some astro dice. Let's find out more for you. We have the moon in the 10th house. So I feel like this confirms that this person in mind sees you as someone who's emotionally visible, but quietly powerful. Your feelings, your instincts, and your moods are noticed even when you don't speak. And so to them, you carry authority through sensitivity. I feel like they sense that your emotional world influences your public presence or your reputation or your role in their life. And so what you feel matters more than you realize, pile one. And I feel like they're more affected by your reactions than they'll ever admit. Thank you so much, friends. I hope this was helpful. If you feel called, check out my private readings, online shop, and podcast, all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm deeply honored to be connected with you, friends. Thank you, thank you. Love you, Tidal fam. Bye. Hi, pile two. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about the person on your mind's immediate, unfiltered thoughts of you. Let's talk about the first impressions that they can't shake, what they think of when your name comes up, and the energy that you imprint on them. We have the Empress in reverse here, and when they think of you, there's this immediate sense of power that maybe isn't being fully expressed yet. Maybe you come across as someone with natural magnetism, creativity, and presence, but there's also a feeling that you don't always show the extent of who you are. So maybe to them you feel contained and not lacking at all. Like maybe they sense depth and beauty and warmth and influence, but also maybe this sense of like self-restraint, almost like you're choosing when and where to bloom. So maybe they feel like you could take up much more space than you currently do, or maybe your energy feels rich but selectively shared. Or maybe they associate you with this quiet authority instead of that loud dominance. We also have focus, stock. So we have Sagittarius energy here. So I feel like with this, they see you as someone who knows where they're going, even if others don't fully understand your process, because Sagittarius energy brings things like intention and direction and inner alignment. To them, you're not scattered, pile 2, you're focused, and you don't chase everything, you choose. So maybe this shows up as them thinking of you as purposeful rather than reactive, or they believe that you have a long-term vision and they feel like you don't need constant external validation. I feel like they see your potential clearly and they know that you're holding something back for obvious reasons, right? Like not out of anything bad or wrong. It's just like, I feel like you're selective, you're discerning, which is great. Next, I want to talk about what they admire about you or are drawn to. Let's talk about the traits that they respect, desire, or envy, and why you affect them emotionally or psychologically, and where this attraction or intrigue comes from, even platonically. Okay, we have the 8 of Flowers, and this is the 8 of Wands. So right away, pile 2, they admire your momentum. You move, you progress, and you don't stay stuck for long. Even when things shift suddenly, you adapt quickly and you keep going. There's something energizing about how fast your life seems to evolve, and it captures their attention. I feel like they notice that things tend to happen quickly around you. I feel like conversations with you feel stimulating and alive, and I feel like your energy creates this forward motion. We also have Feast of Plenty, choices and their consequences. So I feel like this card reveals why your momentum affects them so much. I feel like you understand that choices matter and you don't move blindly, you move with awareness, and that makes your success and your growth and opportunities feel earned. Pile 2, they are drawn to your ability to enjoy life without avoiding responsibility. Maybe this looks like them having admiration for how you juggle multiple paths or opportunities. I feel like they have respect for your ability to choose wisely under pressure, and this curiosity about how you seem to land on your feet all the time. So I feel like they don't just admire your speed, but they admire your discernment. That word keeps coming up, discernment, discernment. Okay, so next I want to talk about their hidden fears, judgments, or insecurities, and what intimidates them about you, why they hold back, and where their projections are coming from. We have the 3 of Hedgehogs in reverse here, and this is the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe they're unsure of where they fit with you. Maybe they're insecure about like their contribution or how to collaborate with you or their value. And so maybe they're worried that they don't bring enough to the table, or maybe they're worried that you don't need them as much as they'd like. So I feel like this is not a lack of interest. It's just this uncertainty about their role. Maybe they feel overlooked, or maybe they feel a bit unnecessary. Maybe they're holding back because they don't know how to show up correctly. Or maybe they're doubting whether their efforts would be appreciated. We also have Quicksilver Moon, changes. So I feel like this explains that instability underneath. Like your life and your energy, it feels changeable to them. You're somebody who evolves quickly and you shift when needed. And so that's extremely impressive, pile 2. And maybe this can be unsettling to those who haven't gotten that like under their belt yet. So maybe they're scared of falling behind or taking missteps as things change. So maybe you're sensing this as inconsistency in how engaged they are with you, or maybe there's moments where they seem unsure of how to approach you. Maybe there's hesitation during times when things are moving fast. So I feel like this is the energy of them trying to keep up with you on an internal level. Next, I want to talk about how this affects you and what to do next. Let's talk about how their thoughts influence the dynamic and whether to lean in or detach or clarify or hold your boundaries. And let's also talk about your power in this situation. So we have the King of Flowers here. This is the King of Wands. So I feel like this card speaks directly to your role, pile 2. You are seen as a leader here. Whether you intended to be or not, you set the tone. Your confidence, your vision, and your presence are things that naturally influence this dynamic. So this isn't about control, it's about direction. And I feel like others naturally take cues from how you move. We also have 7th house, relationship. So I feel like this is shifting the focus to balance. Like this connection invites mutual recognition and not a sense of hierarchy, not guessing, but this clear, conscious relating with one another. I feel like you have a presence that asks for equal footing and shared intention and honest engagement. So I feel like you don't need to shrink to create harmony. I feel like you don't need to slow your growth to accommodate uncertainty. And the right dynamic is going to meet you with confidence and not comparison, pile 2. So pile 2, overall, they see your potential. They feel your momentum. They're aware that being close to you requires self-belief on their part. And so your role is not to manage their uncertainty, it's to remain fully expressed in who you're becoming. And that on its own, it's going to speak volumes, my friend. So let's also get some astro dice for you. Let's find out more for pile 2. Okay, we have Saturn. I keep hearing that song, Saturn by SZA. I don't even know all of the lyrics, but check out that song, Saturn by SZA. There could be a message for you in there. I like to share what comes through in terms of clairaudience. So that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so we have Saturn in the 9th house here. And with this, what they really think of you, I think that they see you as, again, serious, principled, and quietly authoritative in your beliefs. To them, you carry weight when you speak and your words feel earned, not casual. So maybe this person is experiencing you as maybe someone who speaks to someone who challenges their worldview or makes them question what they know. And what they don't say is your discipline or your wisdom and your long-term perspective. It can feel intimidating, but you don't need to bend your truth for other people's comfort is what I'm feeling strongly here. So thank you so much, friends. If you feel called, I also have my private readings, online shop, and podcast, all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm deeply honored to be connected with you, friends. Lots of love, Tidal fam. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Hi, pile 3. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about the person on your mind's immediate, unfiltered thoughts of you. Let's talk about first impressions that they can't shake and what they think of when your name comes up and the energy that you imprint on them. We have the 5 of Flowers here, and so this is the 5 of Wands. So pile 3, when they think of you, the first feeling is activation. You don't blend into the background, you stir energy, opinions, and movement. When they think of you, pile 3, the first feeling is activation. You're not the kind of person that blends into the background. You stir up energy, opinions, and movement. So to them, you represent challenge and not conflict for conflict's sake, but a presence that really does disrupt stagnation. I feel like you stimulate competition, things like debate and self-awareness in others. Maybe they feel more alert and engaged and mentally switched on around you. I feel like you push them to sharpen their ideas or their stance. Maybe they associate you with situations where things heat up, maybe intellectually or emotionally. I feel like you definitely wake things up, pile 3. We also have energy, orange, and we have Virgo energy. I feel like this card confirms that 5 of Wands energy. With Virgo energy here, it grounds that activation because Virgo energy here shows precision and awareness and intention. Your energy isn't chaotic, pile 3, it's directed. You're the kind of person that notices details, you know how to course correct, and you bring order to scattered situations naturally. Like you are naturally talented at this. So I feel like they experience you as someone who doesn't waste energy. You know how to apply it. Maybe you are always being the one who points out what's not working, or maybe you bring structure to emotional or practical messes. Maybe you have a reputation for getting things moving, because together these cards say that you challenge others to engage more consciously. Next, I want to talk about what they admire or are drawn to. Let's talk about the traits they respect, desire, or envy, why you affect them emotionally or psychologically, and where this attraction or intrigue comes from, even platonically. We have suspension in reverse here, and this is the Hanged Man in reverse. So with this, I feel like they admire your refusal to stay stuck. I think that where others tolerate stagnation, you reach a breaking point and then you move. I feel like you're not the kind of person who romanticizes waiting or sacrifice once it no longer serves your growth. And I feel like this signals self-respect. And they notice that. They know that you don't linger in unclear situations and that you reclaim your momentum when things stall and that you are really good at choosing change over comfort. We also have Eyes of the Eagle rising above the fray. So I feel like this explains the deeper intrigue part of the question. You are the kind of person that sees the bigger picture. You don't get lost in petty details or emotional noise for too long. And even when things get messy, you rise above it with perspective. So I feel like this combination creates this quiet admiration and maybe even sometimes comparison. So maybe they respect your ability to detach emotionally when needed. Or maybe they have this curiosity about how you stay grounded during conflict. I feel like they feel like you're a few steps ahead, and I think that they're very much drawn to your perspective. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is their hidden fears, judgments, or insecurities, and what intimidates them about you and why they hold back and where their projections are coming from. We have the Four of Hedgehogs in reverse here, and this is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe there's this fear around letting go. Like maybe your presence invites release, of control, of things like certainty or outdated attachments. And that can feel threatening to someone who finds safety in holding on. So maybe they're worried that being close to you would require vulnerability that they're not ready for. Or maybe they have pulled back just as things start to deepen. Maybe they guard their emotions more tightly around you, or they're resisting change even though they know that they want it. We also have the falling moon, release blocks. Yeah, so I feel like this confirms it. I feel like they sense that you are this catalyst for their emotional release, and maybe you're bringing these unconscious patterns into their awareness, often without trying. So like maybe they're a little bit shaken up by the fact that you are like making them see, not making them, but you have guided them to see things that now they can't unsee. And so I feel like the fear isn't you. It's what they'd have to let go of to be in your presence. Maybe you're feeling this dynamic as like this emotional push-pull, or maybe you find that there's moments where they open up and then they retreat, or maybe there's a sense that you trigger these inner shifts for them. Next, I want to talk about how this affects you and what to do next. Let's talk about how their thoughts influence the dynamic and whether to lean in or detach or clarify or hold boundaries and your power in this situation. We have Justice here, and I feel like this is asking you to stay rooted in things like truth and self-respect, because this dynamic calls for clarity, not emotional negotiation. I feel like you don't need to explain your standards or justify your perspective. Your strength here is alignment, pile 3. We also have 12th house, introspection. So this oracle card invites you to listen, like on an inward level. So rather than reacting outwardly, I feel like your clarity is going to come from observing how this connection feels in your body and in your intuition. And maybe your wisdom comes out in like quiet moments where you're reflecting rather than engaging. So maybe this means that you trust your inner knowing over external reactions, or you let your truth speak through consistency and not arguments. Or maybe you allow your insights to guide your next step. Because overall here, pile 3, I feel like you're not here to soften your truth to keep the peace. You're not here to hold space for others at the cost of yourself. And I feel like your presence brings clarity and release and awakening. And I feel like the more that you honor your integrity, the clearer everything else becomes. Let's get some astro dice. Let's find out more information for pile 3. All right, we have Mercury in the 4th house. So I feel like they see you as deeply thoughtful and emotionally perceptive. You have words that linger, and not because they're loud, but because they touch memory and safety and the inner world. Maybe they feel like you understand where people come from, sometimes better than they understand themselves. And so what they don't say is that your insight into these like emotional patterns or maybe family dynamics, it can feel exposing. Like you hear what's usually left unspoken. And so I feel like that's a natural talent of yours, pile 3. Thank you so much, friends. I hope that this was helpful. I am so grateful and honored to have you in my inner circle. If you feel called, I also have my private readings, online shop, and podcast all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm deeply honored to be connected with you. Lots of love, Tidal fam. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all.